The BBC's Harry Lowe decided to give it a go.
Oh my goodness! This is unbelievable! Look how far off I am!
You could smell it in the air, you could see it in the skyline, and the sweat-soaked shirts of the firefighters behind me bear testament to their hard work. 18 fire engines in this part of Dartford alone. Apart from the overflowing bins, the first thing that hits you is the smell. It's a real stomach-turning stench. There's broken glass, household waste, and worst of all, rotting food left over from nearby restaurants. The only ones enjoying this are the flies, the pigeons, and the rats. The union says its members are willing to work overtime, including this weekend, to make the streets clean again, much to the relief of everyone here who's had to put up with this awful stink. But that all came to an abrupt halt when this alleged attack took place. We've been hearing from the prosecutor, Edward Brown, KC, who described the pure anger in the face of the defendant. He said, "It's a shocking weapon to have, let alone to use, but use it the defendant did, with devastating consequences." What's interesting about this case is that the Foreign Secretary is David Lammy, but that also happens to be his local MP here because he's from Tottenham in North London. So we previously did actually hear from Downing Street, a spokesman for the Prime Minister, saying that he recognises it's an extremely distressing situation for Marcus and his family. It's called cuckooing, where someone vulnerable who may not know they're being exploited sees their home used by gangs to carry out illegal activities, and it's increasing in the capital. There were just 170 Cray Valley supporters for Saturday's win against Erith and Belvedere. Nearly 10 times as many fans will be inside the ground tonight, hoping to see what would surely be the greatest upset in FA Cup history. Yeah, nearly 36 hours after we set off, we have made it to the Olympiastadion here in Berlin. The atmosphere is electric. The singing is getting louder and louder by the second. There are fans from Spain, there are fans from England, and there are fans from Germany too. Not everyone's lucky enough to be able to install an external blind outside their home. But apart from drinking water, there's some other quick, easy ways you can keep yourself cool in the hot weather. HMV has hosted the likes of Blur and David Bowie in the past. And it all began here for the Beatles some 60 years ago. Bosses here hope the return of its first ever store will not just attract those with a sense of nostalgia, but a whole new generation of customers through the door. Well, it's a hive of activity, as you can see behind me. I think the security has been incredibly tight here throughout the morning. Of course, there are fears that there may be a repeat of the activity last week in Peckham, where the artwork on the satellite dish there was taken within an hour of it being put up.
There's the gherkin! I'm heading towards the gherkin. I'm never lost for words, but this is unbelievable. My heart rate is racing quicker than it's ever raced.
Well done, mate.
Goodness, have I ever been so relieved in my life?
Oh, Harry was so polite. Yes.
All the way through.
I wouldn't have been that polite.
Bleaked all the way
Exactly.